Oh my God, I'm dying laughing. Mal, you kill me. Ridiculous. Love your sense of humor. Oh, Mal wants to know. He says he can't wait 8 days to ask me this question. When are you going to stop shorting wheat, you Judas McGuire, and let some of us build a swing position? I'm not shorting wheat, but let's go over it. I definitely have a wheat alert, so I'll add that to the list. Good morning, Shake and Bake, Marvin, Renaissance Man, Greg. I can't stop. Hey, Keith, Wave, Marvin, Topher, RJ, Dublin, JG, Homebody, and Mal. Hey, Card Lady, Tess Robbins. Thanks, Wave. Good morning, Dave and Samwise. Jason thinks I need to give a disclaimer when I am taking my athletic greens consistently because I tend to be in a certain mood. So here you go. Here I am. Shop for Marvin. Sure, I'll get started with indices, commodities, crypto, movers, and shakers in 9 minutes. It is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023, 6:22 a.m. Mountain Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern. Good morning. And we've got Marvin asking about shop. So why am I typing it? I put it at the top of the list. It's a short right here, right now. Oh, got over resistance. Okay, what am I doing? Right here. So from the daily on Monday, May 22nd, we hit 64.05. Yesterday, we hit 64.06. If we can open above 64.06 as we're set to do right now, that is bullish. If we're unable to fill the gap from yesterday, that is bullish. If we pop up, gap up, and then come back into yesterday's range very quickly, and then fall deeper into the range here, then that would be a bearish sign. But shop chart overall looks good. I like this type of pattern. I like it when the RSI does this little rounded bottom, but bulls are going to want to see clearance of 64.06 first thing this morning. Clear it and run. Gap and go versus gap and crap. I'll give you what I got, Renaissance Man. Everyone, good morning to everyone except Gary Gensler. Topher, y'all are getting me. Oh, good, Sandor. Okay, let's look at wheat for Mal, since he got me laughing and all off kilter. So on wheat, here, you see this little orange triangle here. I have an alert set. Let me know if and when it gets oversold on the hourly chart. I'm looking for a potential wheat long. Looking for a daily higher low here. We have plenty of room for a daily higher low relative to 5732. So daily low or high is most likely set. Yes, this could be a weekly bear flag. So I walk in very softly, but carry a big stick. So daily, I am looking for a higher low. We're not in an uptrend. So typically, you reserve hourly oversold bottom fishes for names that are in daily uptrends. This is not in a daily uptrend. However, the size of this bounce has made enough room for a higher low. So that's what I'm looking for. Mal on wheat. Okay, Qualcomm. Qualcomm has been weak. Was it green yesterday? Yeah, it was green yesterday, but compared to Nvidia, it's like, what the heck? Did you not get the memo that everything in this space is popping like crazy? I mean, Qualcomm has been weak. It seems to be trying to get something underway here. In order to change the daily trend more convincingly, we need to get over 117.40. You have your 200 MA overhead. You're gapping up above yesterday's high. That's bullish. 117.40 is your next resistance. If you can get over 117.40, you got yourself a more convincing bull break, but then you got that 200 MA overhead. Okay, let me just stop here and go. I did an interview yesterday with Blake Morrow. He has been trading for almost 27 years. And I asked him at the end of the interview, what were some recent trades that he's taken? What is he like right now? What is he looking at? And then after we closed the interview, I stopped recording. He said, I want to know what trades you've taken lately. What has been your strongest setup? And it was that oil trade I talked about Monday and yesterday. And when you have a trade that sticks out in your mind with that much clarity, those are the trades that we're out for, not the ones that are muddled. This is muddled right now in my brain. If we get over 117.40, that's not a go sign for me because we have the 200 MA overhead and we've got a gap below. It's in purgatory, for lack of a better word. Potential 4-hour head and shoulders if we don't get over 117.40. So just please be careful with this one. Okay. Hey, E cubed, IONQ. IONQ is below the 4-hour EMAs. Somewhat lethargic considering AI has been on absolute fire. And if you don't know, IONQ is a quantum computing name. It's stuck below the daily 8 EMA. I mean, an aggressive bull could look for a dip buy against 971. Your daily support is yesterday's low, 930 and then 890. Resistance 990 and 1005. You're opening up in the inside yesterday's range. Considering the market is green, that's a wee bit bearish. I don't like it. I guess that's the simple answer there. This is another muddy waters situation. It's not super clear trade setup. Daily, we're having an inside bar. We're still inside yesterday's range, which was an inside bar. You have resistance up at 91.46. You're close to that. Bulls need to get over 91.46 to change the 4-hour trend. Got a double top at 90.54 and 90.58. Let's see. When I look at these, I'm thinking, are they looking for a long, which this is a beautiful weekly EQ tightening pattern here. And we say EQ for equilibrium. Very nice tightening pattern. Is the weekly higher low set with that lower wick of bulls buying the dip? Not convincing yet. You need to get over 91.46 to feel more comfortable that the weekly higher low is set. We use time frames in context with higher time frames in order to get the more likely scenarios of price action. I mean, I guess you could be looking for a 15-minute higher low relative to 88.28. I don't like where this one is because we're inside yesterday's range, which was an inside bar. And when you have tightening ranges, you have decreased liquidity. Lots of requests this morning. Oh, there's my girl, Netflix. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this chart. Literally nothing wrong with this chart. I don't like the upper wick from Monday, but I'm not going to ding the bulls too badly. We are levitating above the 8 EMA. Do you see that? In my head, I call that an air pocket. That's where bulls are so strong, they're not even letting it touch the 8 EMA. And we have the majority of our room traders, they use 12 EMA. I use the 8 because I want quicker signals, and it's not even touching the 8, much less the 12. So pretty bullish. You see this tweezer top forming at 416, 415.90. I'd be careful. That becomes the line in the sand. The bulls must cross. Otherwise, bears could take over here for some healthy consolidation. But I like a short against 416 or a long against 396.93. And I don't mean to be so mechanical about this here or here. But I think this is a bullish chart. I don't like shorting at 412. I need my stop a little closer by. I will go over gold in just a second. I go over Amazon every morning. I look at VIX every day. NASDAQ needs to go over the high of yesterday, which was 14623, in order for me to be super bullish on the market today. All right, CCL, you're saying it had a monthly breakout. Yes, it did. And you're looking for RCL laggard. RCL did too. Oh, it's a laggard to RCL, yes, because RCL broke out first. I swear, every time I go to Louisiana, when I go back home, my family, the only way they travel are cruises. And I don't understand that. None of them like to fly, so I guess that's part of it too. But man, they love their cruises. I've been on one and it was fun with my little kids, but I don't know that I'd go now. Daily high or low anticipated relative to 1094. You are overbought on the daily. So careful there. Overbought on the 4 hour. This hourly, look at that bear divergence. Price is making a higher high in pre-market, but RSI hasn't. So careful. Careful, careful. Y'all ready to get this show on the road? Well, happy anniversary, Randy. We're having our 1 month anniversary, you say? I love you more, Tammy. I would love to do all of your chart requests every single day. It pains me that I have to leave some that are left undone, and I apologize for that. But just know, TCG members, they get their questions answered. So they get ticker request live streams 3 times a day, exclusive to TCG members. And anytime they need technical analysis, they just throw in chart, hey, can you let me know about such and such? And then we give them technical analysis and potential aggressive or conservative plays that we see. So just know that if you're a TCG member, we take care of you, but I just don't have the time to go over all of your requests. I want to welcome you to the pregame show. This is who I am. I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, at Chart Gal Lori, that would be great. We should be releasing my interview with Blake Morrow either this afternoon or tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. I will tweet it out. And then we have a Ask Me Anything Q&A session next Thursday. And I'm forgetting the dates, June 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I will answer any of your burning questions within reason, but I will answer them. All right. So, looking at the dollar is weak. On the next bounce, bears are looking for a lower high relative to 104.299. So this dollar weakness gave gold just a little bounce, but gold is disconnecting a little bit, and I'll go over that once I'm done with the indices. But the dollar, we are looking for a lower high on a bounce. ES. So everything I say after the next sentence, I want you to keep this next sentence in mind when you're framing your trades for the day. This is a bullish chart. There is nothing wrong with the ES chart. Nothing. Any bear setups that I mention they are counter trend trading and are more high, well, they're low risk, but high probability of getting stopped out. This is a potential daily bull flag. And let's talk about levitating. That's levitating. We are not even getting close to the 8 EMA. That is bullish, folks. And in my opinion that no one asked for, I think that the market is pricing in a pause of rate hikes. And I think we have rate hikes. Let's see when we have rate hikes. Next week, do we? Yes, interest rate projection or decision. Yeah, here's the Fed interest rate decision next Wednesday at 2 p.m. In my opinion, the market is pricing in a pause. And they're also there's a lot of money on the sidelines, and they're looking for places to go. And why not the markets? They've been beat down pretty severely, and we're not at all-time highs on lots of names. NASDAQ, is there anything wrong with this chart? No, not one thing wrong with it. So we enter today with the perspective that dips are for buying. On the majority of charts, dips are for buying. So I have notes that are off screen. I'll copy and paste those for TCG members when I am done. So this is the level. Can I give it a gold star? What can I give it? This is the level right here, 10,623.75. In my opinion, that is the number. If NASDAQ can't clear that, it keeps the market contained. Do you hear my word choice? I did not say it brings about heavy consolidation. I said it keeps the market contained. This is the lid. This is the proverbial lid on the market right here. If bulls are unable to take off that lid, price could go sideways today, sideways to down. That's going to be a super important number. And on ES, we got over the high of yesterday, and 430575 is your resistance. Now, the question is RTY serving as a canary? Do you see this? Is RTY serving as a canary? Look, we already got over yesterday's high. It's like, move out of my way. Move, get out the way, get out the way. Okay, so we're over the daily 200 MA and plenty of room for a higher low. Do you see this looks different than that? Well, let me get these off. That's a daily bull flag, unconfirmed. ES, daily bull flag, unconfirmed. RTY says, hold my beer, running. And your next resistance is up in the 1900 psychological. That's your next resistance. IWM bulls went for it yesterday, and they're confirming their 4-hour bull flag right now. So is RTY signaling what's to come on ES and NASDAQ? As my husband and I like to say to each other, please hold. So please hold. We'll get this answered soon. It'll probably be after I'm done talking, but we'll find out if NASDAQ and ES can catch up with RTY. YM, I left this on here yesterday. I think fibs can be super important to a strategy if you know how to properly anchor them. I did this yesterday, right here on this candle, right there. I drew the fibs from the low of June 1st to the high of June 4th. And I drew it right here. And I want you to look at what that pullback, how it held. 0.382 is at 452. We hit within $4 of that, and it served as support. Now this Great Wall of Louisiana, the simple 50 moving average, is serving as resistance at the moment. So can the YM hourly 50 MA and NASDAQ 623, can those serve as lids and keep a lid on the market? We will get that answered very shortly. VIX, I'm melting. It's like the every time I look at VIX when it's in this downward trajectory, I think of Wizard of Oz, the witch. I'm melting. This is melting. There is no fear at the moment in the market. Does this typically bounce around 30, 37, 35, 40? And Dan's pointed this out before. Yes, this is generally the area. I want y'all to look how this just, see a horizontal line. So we have barely dipped below that back in 2009. COVID, we spiked pretty hard, but look, when we came back down, we really haven't broken that. So just be cautious. I'm not saying the VIX is going to spike, but we're getting into historical areas where the VIX has bounced. I'm not saying it's going to bounce today. We're getting in that historical area. So 1395 is your next support. Resistance is 1429. Oh, did I write that down? 1 second. Bears need to prove it if this is going to mark the temporary top, Jackson, on this Tesla gap up. I've been following Dan's lead on this. He's been really getting these correlations together where you have a few gap ups or you have this big bull move, and then a gap up will mark the temporary top, and the same thing for a gap down can sometimes mark a temporary bottom. And I'm possibly looking for that today in Tesla, and I'll go over that in just a second. All right, Hang Seng was up overnight 0.8%. DAX just went from red to green. Bitcoin is red. We got a beautiful oversold bounce here. Gary Gensler is on a mission and has chose absolute violence toward crypto. Coinbase has got all these SEC stuff against it. Binance Day was Monday. Coins Day was yesterday. And then we got our dead cat bounce going after it broke bear by $40. Dirty, dirty, dirty. And then we had a great dead cat bounce, but we've given up more than bulls would like to have seen. Let's see how much. Okay, we've given back more than 55% of them. Let's say that's closer to 60% of that bounce, the retracement. Bears are looking for lower highs on Bitcoin. Let me show you my table. This is a table, the market environment dossier. And if you're interested in what this table means, how I use it, and maybe even a copy of this template, you can find that in the PDF description, in the video description below. You can get a PDF and a copy of this template to use personally. And I know a lot of you use this already, and I get constant comments. Well, Lori, I came up with 100 for bullish this morning and 30 for bears. This has some subjectivity to it. This is a way for me to objectively communicate to you what I see in the market. However, some of the things are a push, like the 4-hour trend at the time, it was a push. So I just left it blank. We have a potential daily bull flag. That's more bullish than bearish, but we don't have any shorter term time frame patterns that caught my eye. We have Bitcoin is bearish. Apple is below those key hourly EMAs. DAX just went green. I can change that. Microsoft and Apple are in the same boat as far as more weakness than the other names. Why is that? Here. So in technology, we have Microsoft and Apple are looking weaker than Google, Amazon, Tesla. Do you see that? So XLK has been a little bit weaker than XLC and XLY. So I know a lot of us like to group all these technology names under QQQ, but they are different animals. And you see that when you're tracking things like this market environment dossier, the med table, where Microsoft and Apple were the only two technology names that checked off the red. And healthcare is still not moving. So healthcare, we had that daily. So let me finish Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'm looking for bounces to short. XLV, we have the daily 50 MA overhead. Bulls were unable to get through it and they moved down sharply. Now bulls are looking for a daily higher low, and where that gets set, we don't know. It could be as high as up here. So bulls are looking for a daily higher low, and your first telltale will be a 15-minute trend change during regular trading hours. Here, it didn't have enough time for follow through. I want to see it early in the morning and really get going. We need XLV to tag in if QQQ is going to take a breather. XLF is bullish this morning. There's no problems here, folks. XLE is bullish. No problems here. Hey, Aaron. I'll try to get to it. If y'all could hit that like button, there are about 300 of you and only 66 likes. And hit that subscribe button. It's okay. We won't bother you too much. Actually, we won't bother you at all. Okay, so we did Bitcoin. Ethereum is also weak. Gave up more of that bounce than bulls would have liked to have seen. So now it's actually a little bit stronger. Let me go from the low. Yeah, it's much stronger than Bitcoin actually. So Bitcoin is where I'd stay for that's where I'd stay. The chart I'd stay on in order to look for bounces to short. Gold. I drew this yesterday, and it's funny, it's still kind of working, where we're getting low. We got higher highs without follow through and lower lows without follow through. So bulls will be looking for an hourly higher low compared to 1970. And your new resistance is up at 1982. Daily lower high, is it set? Daily lower high is most likely set here at 1982. Now, where do we set the daily higher low compared to 1953? That will be interesting. I don't see a clear setup right now on gold. Oil, we have inventory today at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. This is that megaphone pattern that I've been following, and there's the short that I took Monday. And while I'm on oil, I have a little bit of education for you. And where did I put it? It's in my notepad. So this is just something I don't know. This could be dangerous to teach. So I say this with warnings and exclamation points all over the place, that if you don't trade options on the regular, or you don't trade oil on the regular, you don't need to know this. So it's no big deal. You don't need to know it, don't need to trade it. SPY options. If the cost is listed in, let's say, TD Ameritrade, let me show you what it looks like. So here, let's look at this one. So a $72 put expiring in 7 days. That's what this 7 right here looks like. I couldn't put this in Snipboard because it wasn't big enough. So a July contract expiring in 7 days. If I want to buy the $72 put, it's listed as $125, okay? $125. If I buy it for $125, the actual cost is $125. Now, let's say that this, I'm going to cover the oil thing. Let's say this is SPY, and I want to buy a call listed for $1.20 right here. The actual cost is $12 because it's multiplied times 100. Oh. Oil is multiplied times 1,000 because it's 1,000 barrels of oil is what one option represents. So if your gains, if your option goes up to $1.50, you didn't make $25, you made $250 on oil. So I know this is not a well-known data point that I wanted to share with you if you trade commodities a lot and you like options. Now, the opposite is true. If it goes from $1.50 to $1.25, you've lost $250 versus on SPY, if it goes from $1.50 to $1.25, you've only lost $25. So it's multiplied times 1,000 and they are very, very, very liquid. And why would you want to trade oil options instead of oil? Well, you're limiting your risk as long as you're not selling them and you're buying them. And they have more tax advantages. So here's the scoop or poop on oil. The futures pay times 1,000. It also costs you more if you're wrong. It has tax advantages because it's tax in the United States, a blend of short-term and long-term gains, and fees are usually a little bit higher on futures options. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you wanted to trade oil options, there's some higher risk, but also higher reward associated with those options. All right, back to the regularly scheduled program. So on oil, you have inventory today and bulls are looking for an hourly high or low. I don't like to trade these names when we are having inventory today. Nat gas, I'm not going to cover it because I can't stand its guts. Bounces are for shorting until bulls prove otherwise. Do you see Apple? Hourly EMAs are overhead on Apple and Microsoft. You see it? That is overall bearish for the market that our two largest names in QQQ are under their EMAs. But if you look at the daily charts, there ain't nothing wrong with this chart. You look at Apple chart, there ain't nothing wrong with this chart. We're just looking for a daily high or low. Oh, I didn't go over today. We had some economic data this morning, and you see it's a big nothing burger. They're all 2-star events. So we had moderate volatility expected, and we actually got none. So that's why I didn't cover that earlier. Tomorrow we have initial jobless claims. Okay. So on Apple, I don't like it on lower time frames, but on higher time frames, bulls are looking for that daily high or low. How I really feel about nat gas. I can't stand it, y'all. It's just terrible. And I know there's people out there killing it and making a lot of money, but what are we looking for right now on nat gas? A daily low or high? Hourly is approaching overbought. That's where you typically look for your daily low or high. So if you're going to trade it, I would trade it bearishly, and I would trade it carefully. I use Thinkorswim for options. Okay. Amazon. Amazon looks great. Look how it's different than Apple. Do you see that? Apple had that sell the news event on Monday. We're below the EMAs, a short-term blow off top at the $3 trillion market cap. Amazon is much stronger. Nothing wrong with this chart. Pullbacks are for buying. NVIDIA. Your next support is 37822. We're opening up inside yesterday's range. There's nothing wrong with this chart. I wish the 50 MA was not overhead. So lower time frames, bulls have work to do. Higher time frames, they're fine. Okay. One second. One second. I'm having to manage a trade. You're right. You're right. I did miss that. So here, that's 120. I am missing a decimal here, and that's 1250. Thank you for that. I am missing a decimal. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I need more coffee in the morning, huh? Thank you, Tanner. No idea when for you. I can't answer that on nat gas. Okay. Let's get back to where's chat? There's chat. So NVIDIA, it looks good. It's just tightening up here. Bulls will be looking for a potential dip buy against 381.48. And then the market tone will let you know how the bulls feel about all of these names. I just got totally off track. So if the market is bullish, you're going to be looking for the stronger names to potentially buy dips. And if the market is weak, you're going to look for the weaker names to possibly short, like Meta. And I'll go over that in just a sec. So Tesla's gapping up. Now, y'all be careful with this idea. Very careful. Because I'm actually saying the exact opposite of what I just said for Tesla. If the market is bullish, I'm not going to look for this idea. Well, actually, I'm not saying the opposite. But if the market turns bearish and we have a gap up on Tesla, I may short it on a 5-minute trend change to the downside. So we are gapping up big on Tesla. Is this gap up a potential temporary top? Bears need to prove it, and I'll wait for them to prove it on lower time frames before I attempt a short. I'm not going to jump in short here. I'm not. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to wait for trend changes on lower time frames. Okay, AI. AI and PLTR, those are both back burner names. They have been super strong. PLTR has news this morning, very strong, and AI has been super strong. So you just wait for that first 5-minute oversold. You see my little alert there? PLTR, I need to set my alert. Tell me when RSI gets oversold on the 5-minute. So AI and PLTR on back burner watch. Meta, I want you, this is not a clean megaphone, but you see these tiny higher highs have not been getting followed through. We haven't been, this is a lower low, but we haven't gotten a lot of lower lows here. Well, we did in pre-market. So this has a megaphone look. So I like a bounce for shorting on Meta if the market is weak. XBI, this is another one that's kind of strange. I'm looking for a daily lower high on XBI. XBI has been screaming. And this is what I typed on XBI. Again, I'm in a mood. XBI, aggressive bears looking for a potential daily lower high to top fish. This one will be tricky. This bear right here is chanting gap up, gap up, gap up. I want it to gap up above 88.28 and meet some bull exhaustion, and then I could look to top fish against 89.83. I want it to go screaming into 89.23 and then get a 5-minute trend change to the downside for a potential top fish. This is a diamond bearish reversal pattern in the making. It's not official yet, looking for that daily lower high. So XBI is my queen of the mountain trade for a potential short today, and I'm going to be so careful with this, super careful. AI and PLTR, those 5-minute back burners I really like for queen of the mountain trades if we get them. And hey, Norma, how are you? All right. Yeah, VIX is hemorrhaging to the downside. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something today. If you did, hit the like button, tell a friend, give me a follow on Twitter at CharkOwLori, and I will be tweeting out that interview either today or tomorrow, so look for that tweet. And be careful out there. This market is bullish overall, and pullbacks are for buying on the stronger charts, in my opinion, until bears prove otherwise. Use stop losses.